Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and this is the daily scan for Thursday, August 15th, 2013. Well, it's going to be a busy day announcement-wise here. This is the day that we've been talking about for most of the week, almost every morning. Consumer Price Index, jobless claims, Empire State Manufacturing Survey, Treasury, International Capital, I have no idea what that is, Industrial Production, Housing Market, and Philly Fed Survey. Busy, busy day. Many of these prior to the market open, all the way down to this area here. And then the Housing Market Index comes out at 10, and the Philly Fed Survey at 10 as well. So it should be a fun day. Alright, let's jump over here, take a look at Asia. Almost everything closed down, some greater than others, but pretty much I would say for an average for their typical movement for a day, nothing shocking on the bearish side. And over in Europe, a little bit stronger negative day or bearish day over there, a little bit stronger than the Asian markets. Something here that looks kind of interesting here. Soros biggest holding a bearish call on the S&P 500. So that's a little bit misleading in that if you look at the article, actually what he has done is he has bought a put on 1.2 million units in the spiders. Now, I don't know what they mean by SPY units. So even if you take that and divide it by 10, that's still 124,000 puts that he supposedly is long. Doesn't seem like a very bright play to me. I mean, if I was going to do something, I'd do something in the futures. However, if this story is true, George Soros is very rich and makes a lot of money doing things like this paragraph here talks about, when he made $1 billion betting against the pound in 1992. When you have that much money and you do something in the market that big, it's actually a manipulation of the market. Can't tell me that somebody that has as much money as this man has is not manipulating the market. So that is my offhanded comment for today. Okay, so switching right over to our account. Looking pretty good here. Apple, I'm pretty sure I'm going to close that today. Apple makes large moves. Oh, sorry about that. Before we go to our account, let's take a look at the futures here in the United States. Also looking like as though they're going to open on the downside slightly. Gold is up, continues to claw its way back up. Let's take a quick look at a chart on that. And we'll take a look at the weekly for the longer term look at gold. And we have a kind of a support resistance line here around 1350. So we'll be happy if it gets up above that. This line here was where I had simulated futures contract. I don't know if it's ever going to get above that line or not. I'm not following it anymore. It's not a big deal. But if I was still holding it, I would have been very, very nervous throughout this period here. And maybe starting to feel a little bit better now, but each quarter I would have to roll it, and I would lose a little bit every time I would roll it into the next expiration period. So anyway, that's just something to watch. Nothing important, actually. And let's take a look at a chart on the ES. I'm going to try to remember to add this to my routine every day. This is what today is looking like on the ES, starting as of, I think, I don't know, 7 o'clock last night, I think they started trading for today. But this candle doesn't start until midnight. So here's where we are after market. This candle starts right here. It should start right there. It definitely did not start there. So I believe that the way that Thinkorswim does these charts, this one starts at midnight. So this was yesterday. Tom Sosnoff on his cherry bomb today said to watch for this 1666 level. Sounds biblical, doesn't it? So that's the level that we're going to be watching for. And so I threw an alert up there. This is my alert for the end of the world. And maybe I might want to move that one up, because if I look at this on a weekly, let me squish these down a little bit more here. And see where I came up with this. And that's how I came up with that particular level for that alert. This was back last year in September, where we had a lot of resistance here, pulled back a little bit, came back up and retested it, and then blew right on by it. So this is only going back a year, and that's 1460. So that's 200 points away from where we are now. And it could be reached quite quickly. So we're keeping an eye on that. So that's why that alert is there. This is our short-term alert. I just threw it up there to see if Sosnoff, what's he going to say about it if and when we reach that level. All right, so back to Apple, back to our current holdings. Apple can make some big moves, so my plan is to exit this today. This was a very short-term trade that we got into on Tuesday, and expiration this Friday. So I would be happy to get out of that today. So far, it's actually looking like it might open up a tad. Celgene's sort of new, so we're waiting for that to develop. Same with Chipotle. All of these have an expiration this Friday, so they need to prove themselves out. This one also is a iron condor that's going to expire this Friday. I probably won't do anything with that. That one's looking pretty good. Even though gold is kind of creeping up, but unless it makes a huge move, I'm not going to worry about that. Google is also expiring this Friday. That's looking pretty good. Not going to do anything right now. It's still got some theta left in it. LinkedIn, we're getting beat up really bad. I am going to have to close this no later than Friday. I have a note to maybe close it today. I'm not sure. But I definitely need to close this call end of this trade. Netflix, I just jumped in this one yesterday. My alert did go off. We'll take a look at that chart. And this is when I entered it here on this candle. No, on this candle. No, on this candle. This line lines up with that candle. I think it was around 10 o'clock or 10:05 or something like that I got in on this one. And this expires this Friday also. And Netflix is looking like as though it's going to open up this morning. Or at least you can't really determine, because midpoint is really right about where last is. So you can't really determine anything on that one. And then the spiders is going to be, the weekly spiders is going to be successful, and this TLT TLT trade is also going to be successful. I probably won't do anything with either one of those unless, well, I still won't do anything with it. So I'm going to be looking at a weekly spiders again today, and based on the chart and based on the indicators on the chart, I will be doing another bear call unless something changes today drastically, but it's going to be a bear call for next week's expiration, which would be out here. So anticipating that and taking a look at what we have available, it looks like they just threw in the 50-cent strikes overnight, so we'll wait for them to develop. And that's kind of what I like about this trading this SPY this way on a weekly. So if you're going to do a call with a delta of around 28, well, I think I say 18 to like 28 or something like that. So it could be around here. It could actually be this 170 or the 170.50. Could be around here. So just taking a look at this. Let's see here. I gotta change this to 171, and that's a 30-cent credit. And if I do 10 of them, like I do up here, we should be looking pretty good. I did a $2 spread here, so let's bring this up to 170. Oops, 172. So it'd be 46 cents. So that's about a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which isn't too bad for a weekly. So I'm going to be risking $2 and I get 46 cents credit, at least at this time of the morning, if I would pick this particular strike. But I don't think I'm going to get a price like that. Probably if I get something around, let's see what I got last week for last week's. Damn it, I don't have it on my notes. Let's see here. See if it pops up here. No, I have to go back. I go back 10 days. Alright, I got 25 cents on the one last week. So that's $250, not counting transaction costs on that one. So that's what my thinking is for today. Okay, let's jump right over to and we'll try to go through the A+ list quickly. Trying to stay lean and mean here for the videos. Alright, nothing going on with Apple. We're in Apple right now. So I'm going to be, in the future, I'm going to be paying a little bit more closer attention now to the intraday chart for entry. And I'll show you why in a minute. Amazon. Still running down, just totally running out of gas. It's almost shocking here what's going on with Amazon. We're down to our 50 MA here. We're still looking for a bounce back up for an entry, so we're going to have to wait on that. This is definitely no longer valid. Baidu. Yes, we were going to jump in here on a bear call. We did not, but I'm not seeing, this was would have been a counter trend trade, but I'm not seeing anything either bullish or bearish for entry on that. Celgene. Oh, Yes. Okay, we have Celgene here. This was a counter trend trade. We got 2 days left in it. Nothing going on for right now. CF Industries, which I'm kind of thinking of taking off my A+ list. I'm not sure yet. No entries here. If you really got a lot of guts, you could do an iron condor on it. Chipotle. This is a counter trend trade as well. And what are we looking like this morning on Chipotle? 390, 407. Might open down a tad. So that one holds true, but there's nothing going on here for an entry at this time. Skip gold. Let's go to Google. Alright, we have an August bear call on this, expiring on Friday. Looks like it's going to work out. Don't see any entries on this at this time. Goldman Sachs. Let's see. Kind of a weak candle there. I'm thinking, like maybe a bull put here, but we're down. Just a short term up. So I might be looking for a bearish, like a bear call on this. But not right now. LinkedIn. Don't see any entries there on LinkedIn, either bullish or bearish. Can't determine anything. MasterCard. I'm going to kill this alert. Seeing maybe a trend reversal happening here on MasterCard. Yes, this is pretty interesting. Let's see here. I'm going to wait until tomorrow or next week. And we do have weeklies popping up on this today. They're fresh, new for next week. So there's really nothing that I can simulate on there to get some idea what prices might be like. But I would say, if we have a 645, that would be a good place to go, but not today. Netflix. Okay, here's what I wanted to point out on the daily chart. When we saw this particular move right here, that was right over here. So we got our hook on this day, and if we would have looked at this day over here on the intraday, we would have seen that it was climbing pretty steady, and an alert a little bit earlier, anticipatory alert, would have been better, because it could have got into this 2 days earlier at a much safer and better price. Of course, hindsight's always 2020. But could have gotten into it sooner, because this is it's in an upward trend. We have a lot of reinforcement. We have a lot of confirmation all over the place on this. And it would have been a good one that we could have gotten in earlier. As it turns out, hopefully this is going to work out well, but we will be looking at the daily intraday more. Okay, this is our old Priceline calendar, which is no longer valid. Let's take a look at the chart. Whoa, wow, Priceline. Holy mackerel. They closed the gap almost. Almost completely closed that gap. So the love affair, or at least the honeymoon, is over on Priceline. The honeymoon from their earnings anyway. It was a one-day honeymoon. Well, actually, if you want to count the whole gap thing, I guess you could say it was a 4-day honeymoon. And now we have several indicators turning down, so we might be looking for a bearish play on that. Panera. Panera is still in its downtrend. Some really wide candles over here. Of course, I think it's just the scale on the chart that's doing that. Let's move this over and see if we can get a price. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, these are 50-cent grid marks on here. These are $2.50 grid marks over here. And these are $5 grid. Too late. Could have gotten into this one a little bit earlier, especially based on this chart here. So, is it still too late? Does this not have weeklies? Huh. Well, I'm not going to go that far out to September. I've been having a lot of success lately with the shorter term stuff, so I'm going to stick with that. Moving on to Tesla. Tesla has multiple weeklies, so this one's already been out there for a while. And they had a $5 spread. Looks like they're moving to a $1 spread today. That's interesting. What's going on the chart with Tesla? Well, the love affair is over there as well. A little bit too late, though, I think, maybe to get in on this. I'm not sure. I'd want to see confirmation over here on the MACD. I want to see a magenta dot over here. Got a couple of them here. So that's what I'm going to wait for on that. And then Visa, also looking pretty much down. Let's look at what we have. New weeklies here, not multiple weeklies. So we'll wait until tomorrow to see if there's anything juicy looking on Visa. Alright, so that's it for the A+ list scan. That's it for the scan for today. Have a great day and happy trading.